Hello everyone. So I just got done at a really productive, wonderful session. I know there's going to be a lot of wind here, but these rocks, I've stopped by here once or twice. A lot of people stop on the side of the road for these rocks. I swear that this is probably, Randall Carlson would really have something to say about these out here. I really think that probably 11 or 12,000 years ago, when the Postglacial floods were coming through, that around LA County, there were a lot of glacial floods from the Sierras, and these beautiful things like these rocks were part of the super floods creating them. But I had a wonderful, I'm very thankful to my clients that I'm working with around here in this general area of Agua Dulce. We did a flag planting day around all the corners of the buildings, and tremendous. It's really good. Christopher, I didn't invent this method. Christopher Alexander developed it, and I'm sure people did it before him, but he did it in a really good way with the Asian campus in near Tokyo. So we did that type of thing, a kind of form language exercise. We had done the pattern language earlier. Today was form language, about how the patterns that we came up with get specifically shaped to that place. And it's great because when you go on site and you go full scale, you're doing things and you're finding things that are much faster. It's much faster to arrive at the good, best solutions when you're doing things full scale and in person. I noticed things, my client noticed things specifically about where we were going to locate the entrance, where we were going to shift things on the property. Much better, because what happens when you design everything in your head, everything on the computer, you build it, or it gets built, and you think, oh, it looks different. It wasn't like that. Well, go there first, and then do the iteration where after you do something and change it, you go there again, you verify it. So, yeah, that's what we've been doing. I always love coming up here. There's a wonderful winery, Carlos Reyes, R-E-Y-E-S winery. Stop there. If you ever come around here, it's fantastic. You can look it up. So there's the Sweetwater something or other. But anyways, there's a place with fantastic burgers. You can get there. I got some cherry cider, which is really good, that I'm taking home. So this is a really lovely landscape. Look at all that. And when you're on the way here, you go through this real humid area. You get to see these microclimates. For those of you keeping track at home, this is early morning pipe in my Napoli hobbyist pipe guy, the guy who recarved it from a bigger pipe. I'm going to go over the hills now. I'm going to go the scenic route. Yep, scatter some loose tobacco way up in the mountains. And then have a long afternoon of drawing things on the computer. Thank you. Hello. Part 2 of 3. Less wind here. And despite all that, a little bit less traffic. So this is just on the edge of the Angeles National Forest. Part 2 of 3, driving along. But thought I would stop here to show up some of the contrasts. I hadn't mentioned earlier, but part of the cultural difference you see going between the areas, there was a Gadsden flag. There weren't any in this house we believe signs out in Agua Dulce that I saw. Yeah, there's some contrast. This is an interesting area. It's right on the edge of the mountains, and there's an old dry arroyo down there. That's really flat. That must have been probably carved out by pretty big floods. Certainly some of them more recent, and I think in the 18th and the 19th century, there's documentations of, in the years after Portola came through here, there were big floods. The rivers in Los Angeles, I read this recently, the rivers used to never go to the ocean. Los Angeles itself was not a desert. The valley wasn't a desert. They made it into a desert because they diverted all the streams. It was a swamp oasis, fed by mountain streams. They diverted everything to agricultural use. It became desert. In the 1830s and before, people called it a Garden of Eden. People kept calling it a Garden of Eden in one way or another. Things are different now. But with all the people who want to be famous leaving, I think that's an improvement.